Imagine for a moment that your life isn't a finished autobiography, bound and shelved, its pages sealed and unchangeable. Instead, picture it as a sprawling, endlessly editable document, a living manuscript constantly being revised, rewritten, and reimagined with every passing day. This isn't merely a poetic metaphor, a fanciful turn of phrase. It is, in fact, a profound and fundamental truth about who we are at our very core. The self, that intricate tapestry of experiences, beliefs, and aspirations, is not a fixed entity, a static monument to a past version of ourselves. It is, and always will be, a story in progress, and crucially, a draft at that. We often find ourselves speaking of finding ourselves, as if identity were some hidden treasure buried deep beneath layers of societal expectation and personal history, waiting patiently to be unearthed, complete and immutable. This perspective suggests a preordained self, a singular, perfect form that simply needs to be discovered. But what if identity is less about a grand archaeological excavation and more about continuous, deliberate creation? What if every experience, every choice, every interaction, every moment of reflection is not just a footnote, but a new sentence, a fresh paragraph, sometimes even an entirely new chapter in the ongoing narrative of who you are becoming? You are not a character etched in stone, a figure in an ancient fresco, but rather a dynamic protagonist in a living, breathing story, a narrative that is always in revision. The real danger, then, lies not in the act of becoming, but in the stubborn refusal to evolve. It lies in defining ourselves too tightly, in drawing rigid boundaries around our potential. When we cling rigidly to a past version of our story, perhaps a version that once served us but no longer does, we become like an author, refusing to edit a flawed first draft. We might declare, with a sense of finality, "This is who I am," and in doing so, we inadvertently close the door to growth, to necessary change, to the very possibility of becoming something more, something different, something undeniably better. We box ourselves into roles, into labels, into the confines of past mistakes or perceived limitations, thereby severely limiting our future potential. This isn't just about personal evolution, a journey of self-improvement. It is about our fundamental capacity for resilience, for adaptation in an ever-changing world, and ultimately, for true, unburdened freedom. This profound idea resonates deeply with the philosophy of Jean-Paul Sartre, particularly his famous assertion, "Existence precedes essence." What does this enigmatic phrase truly mean for our daily lives? It means that unlike a manufactured object, which is created with a predetermined purpose or essence in mind, you are born without a fixed nature or an inherent, preordained purpose. There is no pre-written script for your life, no divine blueprint dictating your every move. Instead, you first exist. You are simply present in the world. And then, through your choices, your actions, your reactions, and your experiences, you actively create your own essence. You define yourself, moment by moment, decision by decision. You are, in every waking moment, actively writing your story, shaping its plot, developing its characters, and determining its themes. Sartre argued that we are condemned to be free, a seemingly paradoxical statement. What he meant was that we are entirely, inescapably responsible for who we become. There is no escaping this profound burden of self-creation, this continuous act of authorship. It is both terrifying in its absolute responsibility and incredibly liberating in its boundless potential. Think of it like a book being edited, not just once, but continuously. The first draft might be full of plot holes, its characters underdeveloped, its narrative clumsy and meandering. A good editor, or in this case, life itself, constantly pushes for refinement, for clarity, for a more compelling story. Or consider old diary entries, perhaps from a decade or even just a few years ago. Rereading them, you often find a person who feels both intimately familiar and utterly foreign. That past self was a draft, a preliminary sketch, and you, The current reader are the revised, updated, and hopefully improved edition. Or imagine a theater rehearsal, a process that is far from the polished final performance. Actors don't just step onto the stage perfectly formed. They're characters fully realized. They experiment, they stumble over lines, they refine their movements and vocalizations, constantly adjusting and adapting until the performance feels authentic and right. Your life is that ongoing rehearsal, a continuous process of refinement, never quite reaching the final curtain call until the very end. It is a dynamic, iterative process, much like a sculptor continually chipping away at a block of marble, or a musician endlessly refining a composition, adding layers of complexity and nuance. When we resist this inherent fluidity, this natural inclination towards change and evolution, we inevitably suffer. We experience a profound cognitive dissonance when our current reality, with its new challenges and opportunities, clashes violently with our outdated, rigid self-definition. We might miss incredible opportunities because they simply do not fit the narrow narrative we have painstakingly constructed for ourselves. We might stay trapped in unfulfilling jobs or stagnant relationships, rationalizing our inaction with the tired refrain, "That's just who I am." This rigidity, this stubborn refusal to adapt, breeds anxiety, fuels regret, and cultivates a profound, debilitating sense of being stuck, of being unable to move forward. It is like trying to force a mighty river to flow backward, defying the very laws of nature, or insisting that a vibrant sapling remain forever a seed, never reaching its full potential as a towering tree. Life, in its essence, demands movement, growth, and transformation, and so too does the self. So, how do we embrace this profound truth of being a perpetual draft? How do we lean into the discomfort of constant revision and find liberation within it? It begins with a fundamental acknowledgement that every single moment, every new dawn, every challenge, every triumph is an opportunity for revision, a chance to add a new sentence, a new paragraph, or even to completely rewrite a chapter. It means cultivating a mindset of profound curiosity and open-mindedness, rather than clinging to the false comfort of certainty. It involves being brave enough to challenge your own deeply held assumptions about yourself, to question the labels you have adopted or that others have placed upon you, and to courageously let go of narratives that no longer serve your highest good. It is about recognizing that failure is not a definitive ending, a final period at the end of a sentence, but rather a crucial plot twist, an unexpected turn that offers a powerful chance to rewrite the very next scene, to learn and to grow. It is about understanding that true growth isn't about becoming someone entirely new, shedding your past self completely, but about continuously refining and expanding the existing story, adding depth, nuance, and unexpected beautiful turns that make the narrative richer and more compelling. You are not a finished product, a completed work of art displayed in a museum. You are a living, breathing, evolving narrative, a dynamic masterpiece in the making. The profound beauty of this truth is that you, and only you, hold the pen. You are the author, the editor, and the protagonist, all at once. In this grand, unfolding epic, the story of you is still being written, its most exciting chapters perhaps yet to be conceived, and you have the immense power, the incredible agency, to make it a masterpiece, not by perfecting the very first draft, but by committing to endless, courageous, and joyful revision. So I have to ask you, what version of your story are you currently clinging to, perhaps out of habit or fear? And what new chapter, what bold new direction, are you ready to begin writing today? Share your comments below and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, write your story and live.